Whoop. Sorry I'm late. I've had a few problems this week. Do you consider yourself to be pretty good at problem solving? Do you find yourself being accessed regularly for your problem solving ability? Have you ever considered how your problem solving ability may actually be harming you? Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Joel for Jive Learning, and today we're talking about problem solving and how we can take it too far. If you find anything in this video useful, be sure to give us a like to let us know. And now onto the curse of the chronic problem solver. So what causes you to become a chronic problem solver? We all have various things going on in our lives that make day-to-day life more challenging, be it career commitments, family troubles, chronic health conditions. All of these things eat into your day, shortening the amount of time you have available to relax or take on new projects, like wanting to write, record, and publish a video each week when we've got all these other demanding things taking our attention. And if you're wondering, yes, that's why this video is late. As you experience particular hardships that make life more challenging and time-consuming than it needs to be, you start to build up a wealth of problem-solving experience as part of your ongoing survival, so you can operate from day to day. So much so that you start to get really good at it. You don't play the victim, you prefer to take control and be the problem solver, and you begin to find creative ways to overcome your problems. You streamline processes, simplifying your routine, physically moving to a location closer to what's important, reducing your distance to work, taking up study online to fit within your schedule, and you start building automations for tasks at home and work. You may also drop things out of your life that are not as important, like particular activities or relationships that are time-consuming without much benefit. Each problem you solve may not seem like a big thing on its own, but collectively, these improvements make a big difference in your life, working together to simplify, focus, and make better use of your time. And as each solution starts working, you find yourself coping better and you start to see time coming back that you didn't have access to previously. Your innovative focus has made the world around you easier so you can be more productive and achieve what you want to achieve. Hey, I guess that's everything done for now. Wow, problem solving feels really good. And on top of that time you're getting back, you've now built this great skill to detect, deconstruct, analyze, and grind through problems. There's a solution for everything. Your training has taught you well, and you've developed keen eyes that can sense problems everywhere. And now, with your own problems under control, you can widen the net. You're now able to jump to the rescue and enthusiastically fix problems others are experiencing. You notice your partner struggling with a file transfer on their computer, and you're there. A colleague pulling their hair out over changing a picture on a web page? I'm your guy. Disarming a nuclear warhead because no one else was available? Hey, I'll give it a try. It gives you a real feeling of human contribution, like you're making a difference for your fellow man. The innovative focus of your survival-based intentionalism has given you the tools to make the world around you easier so you can be more productive and achieve what you want to achieve. However, what you don't count on is when this creative problem-solving ability starts to become a problem in itself. This happens when we can't turn the skill off. All the time you got back starts finding itself filled with new problems to solve. You start finding yourself getting pretty busy, and having built the reputation, you're now the go-to person for every problem out there. Initially, you don't think much of it. I mean, you get to exercise your creative brain and you're helping out friends and colleagues, which in turn, makes you happy, doesn't it? In my day job, the small training team I was in for many years had a lot of work on and a large administrative overhead, which started to become a problem when we needed to create training programs. We had no learning management system, only a SharePoint site available to us. With problems mounting, I started to build a number of business support systems and workflows to streamline and automate tasks like training approvals and generation of attendance sheets, as well as reporting dashboards for faster reporting. And when there were system limitations, I taught myself JavaScript to build custom solutions, such as systems to playback and automatically capture online learning completion, so we could keep up and respond more quickly to these tasks and get that time back to focus on designing learning experiences for learners. At the time, I felt like every problem needed fixing, and I was the solution. It made people happy, so I kept going. These resulting solutions all turned out to be greatly beneficial, but were they essential? At the time, yes, but what if they weren't? What if I hadn't made these things, or even been part of the team in the first place? Wouldn't have they just solved the problem by purchasing a learning management system to handle all of this anyway? Seeing these issues my team had as a problem that needed fixing led to these advancements, but at the same time, it led to the creation of a massive weight of personal responsibility that would continue to grow as the solutions did. These temporary solutions, as you can probably imagine, started to become semi-permanent solutions, which then created its own problems. The delay of an actual learning management system being implemented. The very skill that helped me get my own life under control had started to become an unhealthy addiction of sorts, an addiction to problem solving fueled by a need for validation, to feel useful. The desire to fix problems is not bad in itself. We as the world's creators and inventors are always looking for opportunities to solve problems worth solving, which is how we progress as a civilization, advance technology, and move on to bigger things. However, if you operate in a problem-solving mode all the time, and don't watch where you're directing your attention, before you know it, it begins to create a personal duty within you to solve everything. And you can quickly find yourself taking on too much and become overwhelmed, leading you to feelings of guilt or even shame when you can't save the day as quickly as you had hoped. And if you've lived a life of particularly hard times, chances are your pain threshold is higher, so you can take more punishment and thus more burden. And you're probably carrying a need to compensate, which pushes things even further. The very thing that saved us and gave us our life back is now slowly harming us. So what can we do to overcome our need to fix everything? Reframe how we see our problems. Blake, a leadership coach I worked with last year, brought me to this important realization. The way we see our problems dictates how we react to them. At the time, when I was explaining my situation, he noticed I was saying, I have a problem with this and that, and he stopped me and said, Joel, I noticed you use the word problem a lot. The word problem insinuates that something is bad or broken, and when something has gone bad or broken, we naturally want to try and fix it. This happens to us when we use the word problem to describe something. But does it need to be solved right now? What if it doesn't need to be solved ever? How do we relieve our minds of this responsibility to fix everything? The first step is to carefully observe how often we use the word problem to describe things we think aren't right or out of place. This gives us a baseline understanding of how we view the world. The second step is to reframe our thinking to see these problems as challenges. This is because where problems create a sense of urgency that the thing must be fixed immediately, challenges frame the situation in a way that makes us say, there's an issue here, without carrying the same urgency or responsibility for us to fix it. Challenges also give us a sense of something that we can aspire to and accomplish if we want to direct our attention and energy towards it when we're ready. It prompts us to look at each challenge and gauge its worthiness of our attention. This helps to give us clarity on the kinds of challenges that are worth our time. Problems are typically something to be solved. Challenges are about continuous learning, growth and achievement, and prompt us to think about our time investment. It's important to note that as part of the reframing process, we're not looking to analyze or even work out how to solve the problem. We're only asking ourselves, what is this challenge we're faced with? Is this a challenge that we need to face right now? Or is there something else more worthy of our attention? It's not about if we should be working on this challenge right now. It's working out what challenge we should be working on next. So how does this help us? The benefits of reframing. Once our problems are reframed as challenges, we can work out what to do with each challenge, how they should be prioritized, and if they need to be faced at all. Challenges are an opportunity to learn and grow, but sometimes there are challenges that simply don't need or warrant our attention at this very moment. When we approach the world with a need to solve everything, we're inviting every problem we see into our head to take up our valuable attention. When this happens, we find ourselves spread thin, creating stress and anxiety, taking brain power away from the things that matter and sharing it with things that don't. We start to feel guilt or even shame that we're not able to do everything or solve everything. And consequently, we end up experiencing so much cognitive noise that we can't pinpoint our focus on the challenges that, if attended to right now, would make a significant difference in our lives. These high-impact challenges should be our focus, and we can't hope to give them our best efforts if we're allowing every other challenge out there to share the stage equally. Because if we do, we're effectively fighting our greatest, most significant priorities with an arm tied behind our backs. I'm starting a new job soon, and part of that has included getting a lot of paperwork done, tidying up projects at work, and providing handover to my colleagues. The paperwork has a hard deadline, and with things like leave and a car lease caught up amongst it all, I got that done as a priority. However, as far as handover is concerned, while I can provide some examples of what I've worked through previously, as a professional problem solver, I was experiencing a lot of problems trying to initially extract and share that thought process in a way that will sustain them for the long term. On top of that, we have another round of lockdown and some people are away on leave. In trying to solve this problem, I realized I needed to think about this differently and reframe it as a challenge. Given the time I have left, the challenge is to record and share whatever knowledge is needed by the team right now. And as I approach my own challenges stepping into a new role and leaving what I know behind, my colleagues will approach new challenges picking up where I left off. Our respective challenges are ours to bear, and all we can do is face those and do our best with the time that we have available. Recognizing when you're seeing things as problems and taking the time to reframe them as challenges takes the negative out of your thought process. Not everything needs to be fixed all of the time. Wish I could remind myself of that. If we find ourselves surrounded and overwhelmed by too many of these problems to solve, we just need to narrow our field of view by noting down each problem, reframing each one as a challenge, and looking at which challenge is most important for us to face right now, given the current situation and the control we have. When we do this, it allows us to focus on the challenges that provide us opportunities for growth and will give us the mental bandwidth to approach each challenge with our full selves. And to leave you with a quote from my mentor Jenny, you don't have to solve everyone's problems all the time. Jive Learning is the weekly show where we learn to improve ourselves and the lives of those around us. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. And for more videos like this, be sure to hit the subscribe and bell buttons to be notified when new videos drop. But until then, I'm Joel, and that's your learning for today. You're welcome. Oh, and leave those problems at the door and focus on those high impact challenges instead. I've got you. No dance today.